up. It looks like I am live. I haven't done a live on my phone, so I'm going to do this break of debates on my phone right now and get this off the camera. So, alright. I was just watching this terrible movie. Terrible. I knew it was going to be bad. And when I found out that they had the sequels, look, they had a movie come. Okay, y'all guys know that I don't mind like video game adapted movies. I don't mind if they change certain things about them. Huh? I'm laying in the bed. Change up the atmosphere. But I don't mind video game adapted movies. There are a lot of them out there. Most of them are freaking terrible. But I don't mind if they change certain things, like perhaps story, maybe the characters, as long as they could kind of keep it into the atmosphere of of the actual game. Which the best one pretty much is Resident Evil, even though it's pretty terrible, but it does have its moments. Uh, but I watched the first Alone in the Dark. Now I knew it was a bad movie. Bad. When I say bad, it was bad. But it was still had a bit of a popcorn flickish type feel to it, so it was like a bit of a time waster. And, I mean, it was a bad movie, and everything about it, the performances weren't really all that there. And you would probably think that from like a Christian Slater uh, led movie that it was gonna be a bad movie because I got nothing against the guy, but a lot of his movies that I've seen him play in, especially if he's like the lead role, ain't really good. Um, I'm so flabbergasted by this that I forgot to do the intro. What's going on, guys? Welcome to another edition. I'm your boy Narik Chase. And in this video, we're doing Breaker the Base, episode 163. Madam B and Ken are actually both sick, so I'm gonna be doing this one by myself. It's gonna be pretty hard because I don't think I got enough presence to do like a Breaker the Base, but I'm going to try anyway, especially on talk about this. Now, Alone in the Dark, it was like a critical failure. Everybody said it was a bad movie. Okay, fine. But this sequel was just fucking terrible. It was a travesty. I honestly don't see how in the hell they actually got two standout actors actually to actually come and play. Now, one of them, yeah, Lance Henriksen, I can understand him being in a movie like this because he's all about like this low budget B movie stuff. Now, have you seen that him in that Hellraiser movie? That was just garbage. Lance Henriksen at this point reminds me of Robert Englund, in which like you don't never see them being anything big. Now you always see them doing like low budget B movies type crap. So I can understand Lance Henriksen. Rick Yoon? Rick Yoon was in this freaking movie? Now, for those who don't know, I'm talking about the Alone in the Dark 2. Just got through watching it. Bad movie. I mean, it's worse than the first. Now, the only thing I could probably grant it a little bit is that it kind of has the same atmosphere as the first one. So I can kind of, because it feels more like it's in the whole Alone in the Dark, series was like dark tone. They're dealing with supernatural presence. They have to try to figure out what to do. And there's this mystery that they have to solve. Okay, yeah, that fits into the whole Alone in the Dark video game series. Fine, but the movie itself is just a fucking travesty, and I don't understand how you can have video game movies that are just like this bad. Now, the one video game movie that they came out with, I think is fucking awesome. It's one of the best ones to date, and that one is Silent Hill. Loved the first one. The second one was absolutely terrible. It had a couple of cool things in it, but outside of those few cool things in it, it was just a terrible. It was just garbage. So I don't really understand how you can have how you can make such a sorry, I'm not used to doing this. Look, I'm shaking the camera and stuff. Alright, I don't understand how in the world you can have like such a good source material, great material, and just mess it up trying making a movie. And the problem is that it's not the fact that you're trying to make a movie from it. It's the fact that whoever wrote this and whoever directed this, both of them are dumb as hell. Now they are complete hacks. Like the first Alone in the Dark was bad, but and it was like damn, like I could kind of see how like this movie will ruin somebody's career, or not really ruin it, but you like the next time it'd be hard for you to find some work. This one, the second one as well. Now, what is the actual problem with this series, Alone in the Dark? Honestly, it's more about I don't know how to say it per se. Like when it came to the first one, it felt more like somebody was trying to put too much action into it, which it's more of a live action thing. So it'd be kind of cool to have some a little action into it. But the first film also had a bit of a mystery element to it too. The whole thing where they were putting these de- demonic things in kids and it would take over them like this is the Las Plagas from Resident Evil 4 bit was kind of a stretch. It was an interesting concept. It was just poorly executed. That was interesting, but like I said, it was just poorly executed. And then like them having to deal with these demons or whatever the hell those things were that were kind of those really big demonic looking creatures. Now those things was freaking awesome. But my only problem with that was it was like there's no way in hell those things are that deadly and nobody knows about those things. Like I can't believe that. Like there's no mention of it in the world. I understand they got the MIB of the Alone in the Dark verse on the case dealing with these things, but I'm like if you watch the movie, you realize like there's no way in hell that they don't those nobody knows about those creatures. Those things were that badass in the movie. Hell, they were more of a threat than the actual people that was like made to actually like fight those things. So those things were actually the best part of the movie. And in fact, one of the and it was kind of messed up because of the bad like because of the CGI, but the whole fight sequence where it was like the MIB guys versus those creatures, that was actually one of the best, probably the best moment of the entire freaking movie. There's, in fact, every time I think about it, there's very few moments I thought the movie was actually pretty cool. But that one was actually pretty cool. Pretty cool. And it was like, and I would definitely love to do like a closer look at it. I mean, like I said, it's bad to some extent, but it's still like pretty cool. It's a really cool actiony scene that helped speed up the events of the movie. Another interesting sequence that happened in the first one was there was a moment between the two main protagonists, Christian Slater's character Edward Carnby and Ali Elise Alice. Whatever the chick's name was in the movie. She ended up they were like in this like museum or something, but one of those creatures was in there, and it was kind of like stalking them, and they were kind of like quiet and stuff. Like that right there was good because it does kind of feel more like alone in the dark moment. So I did not really mind that one that much. Now I want to talk a little bit more, even though that movie was pretty bad. Like I said, CGI too, but and also the cliffhanger. The cliffhanger just happened to be everybody pretty much died in the movie. Like the whole city of people that they were in, out of all that whole city, I think it was it felt like New York. I don't know. It was a pretty big city, but everybody was gone. After they managed to seal this whole alternate dimension door and all that, which old dude went out like a soldier, so I would give it to him. I did like that. He went out like a soldier. But then, like, after the two main protagonists make it out of that, everybody else was gone. Like, the whole city, this whole big ass city, everybody was gone but those two people. So I felt it was kind of messed up. Look, I understand the first movie was shit, but at least in the second movie, they could have addressed that. Even though it's a completely different story with different characters, it still said that was in the same universe. That was in the same world. So they should have had whether it was a radio broadcast, there should have been something on like the news about like this whole city full of people just disappeared. I don't understand why they didn't just make that. They just didn't go with that. I was like, okay, I'm quite sure they're gonna bring it up, but did they do it? Yes, thank you. It was a horrible, terrible movie. And I'm terribly sorry for putting Madam B and everybody else that's through that. Ah man, I felt like shit watching this movie. I can't believe honestly, I can't believe that they thought that was a good idea for it. I don't understand, like, what were they thinking? And it goes back to the whole, like, B movie thing. It's like, the story was shit, and I'm definitely gonna come back and just, right now, I'm just throwing out some random thoughts. Like, if I had some weed right now, I'd probably smoke it. That's how bad that damn movie was. If I drank, I would be slapped drunk on this thing right here talking. I'd be like, I'd be stupid. That's how bad the movie was. But it's curiously enough, it wasn't bad enough for me like going to a rage, which usually movies like this made me like I would want to like punch a hole in the wall or something because it's just a bad movie. Look, I can't stand bad movies. I cannot. I don't understand how movies like this get made, but it was an interesting premise. Both movies are an interesting premise. They were actually regarding the first film, if they were actually going to do this thing where it's like, okay, there's this guy that's trying to open this gateway to this other world, where these creatures were going to come into the world. Fine, that's not a bad premise, and it's up to this guy to actually stop it. Of course, I can lay back down. Look, I'm not used to this whole phone thing. I'm not. I'm not. Okay, it would make more sense if the movie was about, yeah, this guy's trying to stop this other guy from opening this gateway to this world of demons, wherever the hell those things were. They were pretty cool, but I don't remember what the name of them was. Okay, and you see a little bit of the mechanizations of what he's been doing, and yes, it's kind of cool him doing implanting the children with this stuff, but just like I said, a lot of it had to do with some of the storytelling regarding the actual characters themselves, because they had this whole romance in it, and it really didn't feed into the film right. It didn't make the story progress in any way. It wasn't really interesting. These two characters have had, and I mean, if you follow the game, you know that these two characters have interacted and have interactions. And in the movie, they bring it back, and there's this kind of like rivalry between him and the leader of the MIB branch or whatever the hell they are. The organization, the Hellboy organization, or whatever the hell. In fact, I'm thinking now, like, where the hell was Hellboy at during that movie? But I'm like sitting here thinking, and I was like, okay, that would have been an interesting premise. Maybe if it wasn't so actiony and it was more about like psychological and a bit more of the supernatural, I think it would have been a much better movie. Because like in the first beginning of the movie, Slater is chasing this one guy who's apparently one of the kids who used to be one of the orphans that got implanted with the demon, so he ended up fighting them, and that wasn't like really relevant. I was like, what was the point of this scene? It's pretty stupid. Then the fight itself wasn't even really that memorable. Another problem I had with the first Alone in the Dark is like none of the characters were really interesting. Yes, you got Christian Slater's character, Edward, who's trying to solve this mystery while dealing with the stuff that happened in the orphanage, which the orphanage stuff involving him because he was a part of it, but he any of the actors had hell. None of them actors had potential. Well, I forgot the chicks now. Like in the first movie, Slater, I made a joke about him being like a bad actor, but he's not now. I mean, when he was younger, it's like I don't even think necessarily he was a bad actor. He's just kind of one of those actors like he always tends to get the same role, and he's never really been in like a good movie, at least to me. So it's not really him. It's not really the main chick. I can't remember her freaking name. But the dude that played Deacon Frost from the first Blade, he was pretty cool. Now, in terms of the second movie, I know, Madam B, I got that fat job. I know. Look at it. See? Look at it, fat jaw. I'm probably not gonna be shooting video on this phone hole like this. I do look like I got all this, like I got a mouth right here. But yes, even in the sequel, really the only person of interest is pretty much Rick Humes. Rick Hume does an all right job, but he's literally given nothing to do. Same with Lance Henriksen. He isn't given anything to do. So going back to what I was saying about the movies, I think it would have been worked out a lot better if it was more about psychological horror rather than just action. Because, like I said, I didn't mind the MIB versus those creatures scene. That right there was pretty cool. But it's like it was a lot of unnecessary action, and there was a lot of unnecessary conflict in it as well. Some of the subplots weren't really interesting. The romance between the two main characters wasn't really like interesting because I wanted to see more about what was going on. The whole I don't want to say it was like a prophecy, but even kind of the build up to where all of this was going was kind of like laid back, not laid back, yeah. It was just as laid back as I was a second ago for man made me get up. But like if they would have just action and focused a little bit more on the horror aspects, it would have been a better movie. Even with this one and this film, of course, it's Rick Hume's character gets stabbed by this cursed blade, and a day or two, the ghost of this witch is supposed to come and kill him. But the subplot is the witch actually wants the daughter of the granddaughter of the guy that messed her up. I'm not really sure. It's like that. It made it seem like this witch was like centuries old, but it made it seem like she was tortured and stuff like 50 years ago. So I'm still a little bit fuzzy about all of that. It's like she's like a few centuries old, or she's like just wreaking havoc like during that dude's life, during a lifetime. So that's really weird. Now the problem with that is those two storylines just clash, and it doesn't make sense for them to be there. Rick Hume is the Edward character, which I honestly didn't realize like halfway through the movie. And I'm quite sure he said his name a few times, but I'm like, he didn't act like a private investigator like that. Because that's what Edward is a private investigator. And you don't really get that sense from Rick Hume, not in the least. Because I was like, how does this guy even know about this stupid dagger? But they never really say how he really knows about the dagger. And not even that, the dagger really, like nothing about this movie was important, nor did it make sense. Okay, so anyways, Zach Ward is in the movie, and I feel sorry for Zach Ward because to me he's like Danny Trejo. He's like stuck doing these like B movie stuff. I watched him in Blood Rain 2 and I was just devastated. Which honestly, I actually liked him in that movie. Let me take that back. I actually liked him in the movie. He was a fun villain. He just like didn't give a shit, and I really appreciate. I do like that in some of the villains, but I actually liked him in that movie. I'm going to take that one back. But Zach Ward really didn't have nothing to do in this film. He showed up, was in the movie for like 10 minutes, then died. And I was like, so what was the point of him being in the movie? Why would the movie not follow Zach Ward because he was the guy that got infected with this curse before Rick Hume's character was? So I'm like, what was the point of him being in this movie? You could have just had Rick Hume been the one that got cursed first. And instead of having Zach Ward get cursed, then turn around and curse Rick Hume. So Zach Ward's curse didn't really do anything because he died. He didn't even die from the curse. So what was the point of him being in this freaking movie? So I'm like, okay, the movie should have either been Rick Hume's character trying to remove this curse, or him getting enlisted to help this one guy save his daughter with this witch wants. And I was like, why was it both? I mean, I understand you did it to put him in the film and everything, but I'm like, okay, the best thing you could have did at that point was just, this guy says, hey, you're a private investigator. I've heard that you've done things like this before. Could you help me save my daughter from this witch ghost? And if you really want to see a witch's ghost that's 10 times better than this shit, go watch Scooby-Doo, The Witch's Ghost. That ghost was a hell of a lot better than this crap. And don't even let me get started on the stupid witch, ghost witch, whatever the hell it is, because it's whoever thought of the idea of this witch even being like they didn't even. To me, it didn't even feel like they knew what they were doing. They didn't even know what they were doing because at times the witch turned to be this wispy, foggy. It is. I don't even know how to say it. I'm trying to figure out how to say this. Okay. At times, the witch turns out is like in three. She got three forms. She's got this misty, foggy form that's just whipping around doing this for no reason, and then you got this semi-solid-ish ghost form that looks kind of like a ghost skeleton a little bit. But then you got the witch form herself, where she looks like a person. She's got this stupid rags on and this stupid mark on her face, which you really don't actually see most of the time because they keep covering it up. But it looks like she's got like a part of her, like all of this right here is like missing, so you see like the inside of her mouth. And I'm like, so why is scenes she's like a physical form, and then in other scenes she's got like this ghost-ish skeletal look. Like when you're watching it, it almost looks like it's two different ghosts. So, and it's like one of them is actual physical, and one of them is actual bad CGI. And like that was, and I'm like, okay, if the characters aren't really memorable, because the characters really weren't memorable. There's one sequence people got killed off for no reason, and and like half the cast was gone after that. I was like, so I don't even know who these characters were. We don't know what their motivation was. We don't know what their relationship was. They just all get killed off. And then they all got killed off in ways that did not make any sense because this stupid ghost is looking for this dagger. And I'm like, okay, the dagger's in the house. You could just go get the dagger. And the ghost don't even go get the dagger. The ghost is like going everywhere else but where the dagger obviously be. Even the dude and the chick, the two people that the ghost was going after, she just completely ignored them. Even though it had this one tense scene where she's just like, they're like around this corner, and she's like right here on the other side of the corner, and it makes it seem like she knows that they're there. Because she just hovers, she's just there. She's not looking at anything particular. She's just there, and it's like supposed to be this really tense moment, and it's like, no, it wasn't. She's like, she's supposed to be a ghost, so why is she just not, going through the house, like through the walls and stuff? You know what I'm saying? But she don't do that either. So you're like, no, it doesn't make any sense. It really don't. This shitty movie just does not make any sense. So I'm like, oh gosh, this movie is fucking terrible. So she ends up killing like three people that didn't have anything to do with the damn curse. And yes, she happened to be there, but in the beginning of the film, Zach Ward's character was right there when like the first three people got killed, which was stupid because like, what was the point of them having all these guns when they were shooting a ghost? So the guns obviously ain't gonna work. Even though they kind of alluded to later on in the film that they got some anti-ghost bullets or something to deal with like the afterlife, because this one chick ends up getting pulled into this by this like ethereal shield, and they couldn't get through it. So this guy pulls out like a shotgun or some kind of gun and dips these bullets in something and then shoots through the damn shield. So I'm like, okay, yeah, that makes perfect sense. So anyways, I'm sitting here watching this, and I was like, this shit is stupid. And it's boring. When I say it's boring, look, at first the movie was dumb, but at least it had action. At least it picked up a little bit. This movie is boring. Even when the climax is going down, when they have going on with this quote unquote ghost, nothing interesting happened. And the worst thing about it is when people die, is you can tell like this had no budget because they die, they just get pulled off screen. That's basically it. You hear them scream, that's it. One person, no, two people died. I didn't even know they died. I mean, I understand that she like popped up around them and everything, but I'm like, you don't see them die. So I'm like, okay, they're gonna come back. In fact, one of the chicks, it was like two chicks in the movie. One of the chicks, the ghost just like showed up, and you don't see her ever again. You see her later on. You see like a body with like a blanket over it. You're like, so she died? Why was that not established? Oh, so this movie was just man, some bad movies. Bad movies. How could these movies be better? Take a page out of Silent Hill. Take it, and to some extent, take a page out of Resident Evil. Alone in the Dark could be a movie about Edward Carnby having to deal with some type of mystery. Fine, go with that, but do more of a psychological, more isolated. I wouldn't mind just do like they did in part three, where this guy and this chick get stuck on this island, which they end up finding out there's these supernatural monsters there, and they're trying to survive while at the same time trying to uncover how all of this crap went down in the first place. That would be a good movie. Make it tension filled, give us some decent practical and CGI creatures, give us an interesting story with good pacing. Honestly, I'm not really sure who I would cast as the actors or even who I would get to direct the film. I wish, now that I think about it, I wish I could have actually went back and looked it up who I would actually want to actually do the film, direct the film as well as star in the film. So the casting choices, that'll be a video I'm going to do then. Hopefully I remember. So stay tuned for that. But I'm like, who in the fuck thought these movies were a good idea? Like, who greenlit this stuff? And I understand, like, there was a certain, hold on. Oh, okay, that's the camera. Okay, it looked like it's two things. Okay, so I'm looking at the wrong one. But like, who greenlit this? Like, I want to come back and do another breaker base on this, and I want to talk about like horror-based video game movies and what they like. How could this movie take notes from? Like, this movie could have took notes from Silent Hill. Silent Hill was good for a number of reasons. Not only was it good, did they have good performances, and actually we get to see Sean Bean in the movie, and he don't die, even though he did have a pretty fucked up storyline. So, Rada Mitchell, I think that's her name, right? Rada Mitchell, I think that's what her name was. Yeah, she was like, you had good performances. It was actually a pretty good story, and it made sense. This woman's daughter ends up disappearing, and the evidence points to this place called Silent Hill. So she goes to Silent Hill to try to save her. And what happens when she goes to Silent Hill? She ends up Silent Hills in like in this alternate dimension due to this demonic little girl that kind of reminds me of Alma Wade from the Fear series, which I would love to see a movie about that. But anyways, if you want to see a ghost movie with guns, make a Fear movie, but just get the right slow mo and action and stuff right. But anyways, so what made that movie was good because we got to see these monsters, Pyramid Head, the wicked nurses and stuff. We got to see a very tension-filled atmosphere regarding the main character, and every move that she made was basically life or death. Hell, one of my favorite characters in the movie was the damn police officer, and even though she had a gun, she didn't even do like actiony stuff in it. So that was pretty cool. But it was a good tension-filled movie, and honestly, Silent Hill to me not only beats Resident Evil, it completely blows this damn Alone in the Dark series out the damn water because it did what a survival horror should do. Had psychological moments, and it felt like the character could die at any moment. She had to run from all of these various creatures. The way the world changed when it went from this day cycle, this weird day cycle to night cycle, because when the night cycle stuff jumped off, that's when shit got worse. Like that's what we should have had in this movie. I don't mind this whole thought behind this witch trying to kill this guy, but like it could have been like a good like haunted house feel where that he's in his house trying to uncover this mystery, but this ghost is in here just messing up people. And they need to work on the characters better too, because I don't remember really any of the characters. You got Lance Henriksen's son character, and he didn't do anything in the movie. He didn't. Maybe he provided a word or two, but I'm like, he shouldn't have been in the freaking movie. They should just let that part go to Zach Ward, or I don't know. I don't know how in the hell, like Zach Ward, Lance Henriksen, Rick Yoon, especially Rick Yoon. How did they get him on this? Like, Rick Yoon has actually been in some good stuff. I'm lost in the sauce on this one. And the movie was just, like I said, maybe it's just me. But then again, Madam B told me she didn't like that shit either. I don't even think she gave that movie 5 minutes. Because every little moment she looked at, it looked like a bunch of horse shit was going on in the movie. Characters talk, you don't know what the hell they talking about. Then they act like they know what they're talking about. Obviously, they don't. And then what is the point of you getting stabbed by this stupid cursed blade, and then you're having visions of the past about, which is weird. It's like, okay, are they having visions through the witch? Or are they having visions through what you learn later is quite possibly the girl's mom? The mom ain't the witch, by the way. But the mom, well, okay, I guess the witch was centuries old, because the grandpa was working with her to do something. I guess what was it, immortality? I think they said something like that. It was some stupid reason why he was working with this witch, and it had something to do with the daughter. Was they cut the daughter heart out, which happens to be the main chick's mom. But it's like, so what is the point of you getting stabbed by this dumbass cursed blade? Which there's obviously some moments where you can tell the thing ain't even freaking real, because it's curved on some parts where it looks out like it's plastic, and you have other parts where it looks straight. And I'm like, yeah, that. And then like I said, another thing about it, it's like, why are these people trying to shoot this ghost with these damn guns? And it's stupid, because the guns are like something like state-of-the-art type, anti-military, anti-tank type guns. I'm like, okay. So, if this was seen more as an actual, like a haunted house feel, I think it would have worked out a little bit better. Where perhaps if they were like in a castle, and in the castle they're trying to find this room, find the origin story behind this witch and this ghost, and do what they have to do to potentially protect her, or free her, or kill her, what have you. It would have been much better. It would have been a hell of a lot better. A better story. It was more tension filled. The only thing I liked about this above the other one was the fact that it was more of this like survival horror element to it. But this motherfucker was survival horrible on nearly every damn level. So in terms of these two movies, in fact, I actually want to go back and do like a head-to-head to see which one is better than the other. Which I might actually do that. Which one of these movies is better than the other? And I'm actually liking to do this like this. Because right now I'm getting my computer some time, just chill, and plus I was like, this is like an automatic thing, so I'm going to sit here and talk about this now. And obviously I can't get comfortable because I keep moving. Hold on. There we go. And I'm still not comfortable because I have to hold this damn phone. So one day I'll figure it out. But anyways, I might do a head-to-head talk about which one of these movies is better, which one is actually worse, which stories was, I don't know. Like, Alone in the Dark at this point, I wish somebody would reboot it and just, somebody that gives a shit. Not one of these dumbass B-movie writers or B-movie actors. Because this whole, in fact, the first movie, even though it was shitty, it has some interesting qualities to it. It was somewhat of an original story. Not really original, but it was a bit more interesting story. This second one, it was like, it wasn't original. It didn't have nothing special going for it. Because what's like, right now, like, what was the point of the ghost being a witch? She didn't do shit. Nothing. She could have just been a witch. In fact, she reminded me of that ghost off freaking what's that the movie The Haunting of Helena something. They didn't have no teeth in her mouth. That's what the ghost reminded me of. So I was like, what was the point of the ghost being a witch? You didn't see that she got burned at the stake and for accused of being a witch. Like, what was the one movie where the Tooth Fairy? Me and Madam B was watching it. The Tooth Fairy. At the beginning on this boy, and that was one of the times, a few times I've seen a little boy get like a 10-year-old boy get like killed like that in the freaking movie. It was brutal. And I was like, I can understand that witch in that movie doing what she was doing. I don't understand what the hell this one was doing. Like, I don't understand this movie at all. I don't. The second movie was just, to me, worse than the first. Almost. I mean, like I said, it has some interesting things going for it, but who wrote this? Who directed this? I don't know. But I hope they don't. I don't want to say I don't want to see them do work anymore, but damn, they need to take a break. They need to go back and go watch some actual good movies because I feel so sorry for this series. I'm actually interested to see because normally there's always a decent horror movie that comes out, and then you get all of these direct-to-DVD movies that are just fucking terrible, and they get worse each one, which happens to be the trend of a lot of horror movies. I don't understand why, but I'm hoping somebody would come and do a third one, but actually give a shit about the product that they put out, because that right there is horse shit. Nothing but a complete pile of doo-doo. But I guess this is just like a rant. Like I said, these two movies, they just something else. I don't know what to say about the people that are just producing this crap. But maybe they need to just think about their, like, I could have done a better job. Now, do I have a portfolio? No. Have I made a movie? No. But I'm actually better with storytelling, and I know how to work on characters a hell of a lot better than what we've seen there. Because I don't remember none of these damn characters' names. And the only reason I know that Rick Yoon was Edward was because I looked it up. That's it. That's it. I don't remember them saying his name in the movie. I mean, I kept going in and out a little bit because I was typing, but I was like, oh, this shit is not interesting. It's boring as crap. There's literally no character development in either one of the damn movies. The first movie had a bit of a romance that felt like it was, I don't want to say it wasn't needed, but it actually felt like, okay, it kind of made sense because they were ace boon coons back in the day. Even though they had the rival guy, which I didn't really mind him either. He was actually interesting. Although they were pretty much the three stereotypes you would see in a movie like that, in a love triangle. Yeah, but this one, just, I don't know what to say about it. Like, I definitely need to come back. I need to start that what they could have done better series up again. I know I started it, did like 4 shows, and I was like, well, I got so much shit. I'm going to put that to the side. No, I need to bring that back. I need to bring it back because that's. But I'm, I might actually do a head-to-head on that. Alone in the Dark versus Alone in the Dark 2. I'm gonna work on that tonight too. So guys, tomorrow, be ready to see that video. I am gonna put it up tomorrow. But anyways, guys, in the comment section below, let me know, what do you think about the Alone in the Dark series? Do you think they need to just scrap it? Are you tired of seeing these video game adapted movies? Do you think they should reboot it? And if so, who would you cast to play in it, and who would you cast to write it, and who would you cast to actually direct it? And because I'm definitely going to come back with some more videos on that as well, because I do think that this series definitely has potential. Even the games, I played 1 or 2 of the games, but I think that they need to go in a new direction because the games are pretty cool, but at the same time, they're not reaching their full potential. Not mine. And I'm saying the same thing with the freaking movie. Like if I can love a Silent Hill film, I know I can love an Alone in the Dark film. But anyways, be sure to hit that like, share, subscribe, and that notification button to get the best of what we got going on in this channel, guys. And we'll definitely catch you guys